Hi everyone, welcome back to Edu Remote. We are back with a new lesson video, and in this video we are going to discuss about income as a determinant of demand. I'm sure you guys already know there are many determinants of demand, meaning different factors which influence demand. So in this particular video we will only discuss about how income influences demand. So we will use these explanation file as a reference throughout the video. We are going to discuss about income as a determinant of demand, and before we discuss this, we will have a brief idea of elasticity. Elasticity in income is a very important concept. It's almost like if you don't know elasticity, it's difficult to get most of the economics concept. So we will definitely cover that in a later video in detail. But for now, we will have a brief idea so that it is useful in the further explanation. So elasticity is basically the degree of responsiveness or the degree of change, means the extent of change in a variable, for example, demand, as a response to the change in another variable. For example, income in this case. Okay. Now, how income influences demand? So, income influences demand in different ways depending on the nature of the good. So, typically there are three types of goods which we can classify in this basis, and that is normal good, inferior good, and necessary good. Now, what is normal good? Normal good is the one which follows as income increases, the demand for the good also increases. And as the income of the consumer falls, the demand for the good also falls. So there is a positive relationship between the income of the consumer and the demand for the good. So examples of normal good include shoes, clothes, bags, TV, glasses, restaurant meals, Uber rides, etc. Now these restaurant meals, Uber rides, these are services, and clothes, shoes, bags, TV, glasses, these are goods. So normal good is the one which follows a direct positive relationship, as we have just explained. The graphical representation of income as a determinant of demand in case of normal good is as follows. In the graph, in the y-axis we will have income, and in the x-axis we will have demand. So the graph is so that it will have a direct positive relationship between the income of the consumer and the change in demand. So this is the graph in case of normal goods, and it has a positive relationship. Next is the inferior good. Inferior good is the one for whom the demand initially increases as the income of the consumer increases up to a certain level, and thereafter with further increase in income, the demand starts falling. So there is a negative income elasticity of demand in this case. So initially, when the income of the consumer increases, the demand for inferior good increases up to a certain point, and thereafter with further increase in income, the demand for the inferior good starts falling. Examples of this we will discuss, but this is very individual specific and depends on the income of an individual. So inferior good for me might differ, and for you it might differ depending on the income of you and me. So inferior good, we determine inferior good on the basis of the income of the individual. It is very individual specific, and generally examples of inferior goods may include used cars, canned foods, etc. Graphical representation of income as a determinant of demand in case of inferior good is as follows. Graphical representation in case of inferior goods will have the same things on the axis. On the y-axis we will have income, and on the x-axis we will have demand. So the graph will be so that it will increase initially up to a certain point, and thereafter with further increase in income, the demand will start falling. So it's like a backward bending curve where by yi we will determine the level up to which it increases, and thereafter with further increase the demand falls. Next is the necessary goods. Necessary goods are the essential goods which are important in our day-to-day lives. So necessary goods are the ones for whom demand for the goods initially increases with the increase in the consumer's income up to a certain level, and thereafter it becomes relatively constant. So for necessary goods, initially when the income of the consumer increases, the demand for the good increases up to a certain level, and thereafter with further increase in the consumer's income, the demand for the good becomes relatively constant. So the income elasticity of demand in this case is positive but less than 1, which means it is inelastic. Examples of necessary goods include salt, matchbox, drinking water, cooking oil, basic clothing and hygiene, etc. The graphical representation of income as a determinant of demand in case of necessary goods is as follows. For necessary goods, again in the graph we will have the same thing. On the y-axis we'll have income and on the x-axis we will have demand. Now the graph for necessary good is such that initially it increases with increase in income up to a certain level. Thereafter it becomes relatively constant. So as you can see with this dotted lines, we are showing you up to this certain point of increase in income, the demand for necessary goods become relatively constant. That's about all for this video. We will come with more concept videos in our future videos. Do not forget to subscribe Edu Remote to stay tuned to all the videos and catch you in the next video.